Here we're going to add some meshes into our scene. First thing we're going to do though is go File, New, Reload Startup File, and then just hit A and then hit X. This is going to delete everything. Okay, so make sure everything's selected, delete everything. We don't need the camera, we don't need the light source at the moment. We'll just delete everything. And what we're going to do is go down the bottom here, make sure you're in object mode. You shouldn't be in edit mode because there's nothing to edit. And add a mesh, and for now, add a cone. Now before you start moving this and scaling it and doing all kinds of crazy things to it, it's not actually added into the scene until you make a single change to it. And then it's kind of locked in. So on this left-hand side, the first thing you want to do is set how many vertices you have. Now, if this was for a game, this would actually matter. If it was for a movie that we were going to render, well, yeah, it will still matter, not as much, because rendering the movie, you know, it's going to take hours regardless. So less vertices, less information will be a lot quicker. But in a game where it's rendering in real time, frame by frame, you want to have as low number of polygons as possible. So that's what I'm going to turn this down to about 12 or so. It still looks like a cone, but now there's only 12 vertices. So 11 around the bottom and 1 at the top. If I wanted to have an even number of sides, well, I just set this to odd. Okay, so there's now 10 vertices around the bottom, 1 at the top. And that should give me, no, 12 would be right. I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 edges and 1 point at the top. Okay, the radius is just how big you want it to be. This stuff can be changed later though. Okay, you can change this by changing its transform, scaling different things, but you can't really change this number here. So this is when you should set it up. As soon as I move this, you'll see that's gone, and all I've got is the translation options down the bottom, orientation, and I can still rotate and so on. Different mesh objects, add mesh, cube. Cube, you only get radius. You can't really change the number of sides on a cube because then it wouldn't be a cube. Mesh, circle. Okay, it's just a flat circle. It is useful for some things, and once again, you can change the number of vertices. Circle with 4 sides is actually a square, because even though it's a circle, it's not a proper circle. It still has a number of sides on it. To get an actual proper circle, we'd have to look at NURBS modeling, which is a lot more complicated. So anything above 16 and it starts to become pretty indistinguishable from a circle. And I'll just delete that one. Cylinder is like a circle, but with volume. We've got a plane, that's just a flat surface, 4 points, it's a square. A torus is like this. And when you add the torus, I should have done that before Taurus. Oh, here we go. You have to scroll down a bit. So this has a lot of polygons in it, and you want to change that down maybe if you're going to add that in. Okay, not too much, or it looks nothing like what it used to. And you can play around with the other settings in there for the Taurus. And everyone's favorite, monkey, which is this little guy here. He doesn't have any options. He's just a monkey, and you can add him in. So what you're going to do is, if you look at the task, you're going to actually use some of these shapes to make a monkey with a dunce hat on, sitting on a giant stretched out cube with a torus at the bottom. Now you don't have to worry too much about changing those sizes, but you will need to do some rotation, some scales, some stretching. So have a look at the image that's in the book that's provided. It's this one here, by the way. This one. And have a go at creating that, and then show your teacher when it's done.